Somewhere out there, beyond the edge of the map, people still expect Atlantis to be waiting. A perfect city, a powerful empire. And then, one day and one night, gone. But here's the uncomfortable twist. It may never have existed at all. Atlantis comes from one source, Plato, written around 360 BC in just two dialogues, Timaeus and Critias. Every later version, every map, every discovery, every expedition ultimately traces back to those pages. Plato may have sabotaged his own story because his most famous student didn't buy it for a second. Aristotle reportedly dismissed Atlantis as fiction, saying, "The man who invented it also destroyed it." If he thought it was a made-up lesson, that speaks volumes. Plato frames Atlantis as a story passed down through Solon, an Athenian statesman who visited Egypt around 590 BC. In the city of Sais, priests supposedly told Solon about an ancient war and a civilization swallowed by the sea. But we don't have the Egyptian version, only Plato's version of someone else's version. Plato places Atlantis beyond the Pillars of Hercules, what we call the Strait of Gibraltar, out in the Atlantic Ocean. Not a hidden corner of Greece, not a secret bay in the Mediterranean. A world outside the known world. And he describes something larger than Libya and Asia combined. The city itself is the detail that hooks people, concentric rings of alternating land and water, like a target built from canals. At the center, a hill crowned by a great temple to Poseidon, power, wealth, and divine favor in one skyline. It feels like a memory, even if it's only literature. Then, Plato gives a date that breaks the story. Atlantis supposedly fell 9,000 years before his time, around 9600 BC. That's long before any known advanced civilization, long before cities, writing, or Bronze Age empires. So either Plato preserved lost history, or the date is part of the message. Plato didn't introduce Atlantis like a campfire myth. He used it like a warning label. In his telling, Atlantis becomes rich, powerful, and arrogant until moral corruption rots it from the inside, and the ending is brutal. Earthquakes, floods, a single day and night of collapse. Even the name is myth-coded. Atlantis likely comes from Atlas, the titan condemned to hold up the sky. In Plato's account, Atlas is the first king of Atlantis, a son of Poseidon, making the empire literally Poseidon's line. And that legacy echoes in the name Atlantic Ocean. If Atlantis has a real-world blueprint, one candidate is terrifyingly real. The eruption of Thera, modern Santorini, around 1600 BC. It was one of the largest volcanic eruptions in human history, about 4 times more powerful than Krakatoa. An island shattered, seas displaced, coastlines punished, exactly how disasters become legend. The eruption likely triggered massive tsunamis and destabilized the region for years. And it may have helped wipe out the Minoans, an advanced sea-connected civilization, almost overnight. A prosperous island power destroyed in an instant. It's hard not to see why people reach for Atlantis. Other theories chase Plato's beyond Gibraltar clue more literally, like Spartal Bank, a submerged area near the strait. Sea levels did rise after the last ice age, and some land did disappear beneath the waterline. But a sunken coastline isn't the same as a continent-sized empire with rings, temples, and a recorded war. Then there's the Eye of the Sahara in Mauritania, the Rishat structure, a bullseye nearly 24 kilometers wide. Concentric rings of rock, visible from space, eerily similar to Plato's most famous detail. It even sits at roughly the right latitude, which is exactly why it's so hard to let go. And yes, the Sahara wasn't always a desert. In the past, it was greener, wetter, threaded with lakes and rivers, so a lost landscape doesn't sound impossible until you ask the key question: where's the human evidence? The Risha is almost certainly natural, an extraordinary coincidence in the shape of a story. The modern obsession really ignites in 1882 when an American politician named Ignatius Donnelly treats Atlantis as literal history. His book doesn't just speculate, it connects Atlantis to everything, like a master key to civilization. And once Atlantis becomes the answer, people start searching for questions that fit it. Then, Atlantis takes one of history's strangest and darkest detours, Nazi occultism. Heinrich Himmler's SS funded the Ahnenerbe, a pseudo-academic division that chased myths as racial proof. They claimed Aryans descended from Atlantean survivors and tried to weaponize a legend. Researchers were sent to places as far apart as Tibet and Bolivia, because once you assume Atlantis is real, it can be anywhere. Even Antarctica was proposed, partly because of a 1513 map, the Piri Reis map, that some claimed showed an ice-free coastline. The logic was seductive. If it was mapped before the ice, an ancient super-civilization must have existed. Here's where the mystery meets the wall. After thousands of expeditions and studies, there is still no archaeological evidence of Atlantis. No inscriptions, no ruins that match the description, no material trail pointing to a continent-sized empire in the Atlantic. And Atlantis appears in only those two texts, no earlier source whispering the same story. So why does Atlantis survive even without proof? Because it's not just a place, it's a pattern. A society becomes powerful, convinces itself it's untouchable, and then discovers nature and human flaws don't negotiate. Atlantis is the story we tell when we suspect our world is more fragile than it looks. Maybe Atlantis was never meant to be found, because Plato didn't write a treasure map. He wrote a cautionary mirror. Real disasters like Thera show how a single day can erase a world, and coincidences like the eye of the Sahara keep the image alive. Atlantis fascinates us because it asks, what would make our world sink?
Please subscribe and share if you want more interesting stories and mysteries. Your support helps us keep exploring the unknown. See you in the next video.